Hello and welcome to episode 74 of Nolo Time. My name is Jovet Velez and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good, No Load Time? Good to be with you again for a great episode here, Obed. Some really fun stuff we're going to talk about today. Also a lot of movies, a lot of gaming news from last week where we had a fun time with that Game Awards episode. So a lot of good stuff to cover today.
Yeah, definitely, especially with that Avengers trailer.
I know.
We're going to talk about it in a minute. But yeah, last week was a very interesting episode, Joel. I went back because I always go back and listen to our recordings and to make sure that, technical issues are down to a minimum and audio quality is good. I'm a sucker for audio quality, man. So, I try to make it sound as best as I can with the tools that I have. So, I went back and listened to it, and it was kind of weird. We were interrupting ourselves to make announcements from the Green Cave Awards. It's like, well, that was kind of interesting. It was actually very entertaining, though. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, that was pretty good. It was pretty good. Man, I really, again, it was one of those weekends that I went down to a zero, but I do have something to share. Joel, do you remember back in, I believe it was April, May of this year when PS Plus had probably the best lineup ever, where it was Ratchet and Clank and Bloodborne?
Yes.
So I started playing Ratchet and Clank because I had it.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, I was going to start playing the Ratchet and Clank on PS4, and it's pretty good. That game's good, and it looks real nice. So some of the cutscenes are out of the movie that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say a couple years ago that I heard wasn't that great.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Yeah, so whenever it has pre-rendered cutscenes, they are not super great because they're from the movie. But other than that, like the humor on the game is still intact. It's Insomniac, so the humor is going to be there. And the weapons and all the crazy antics are there. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't played a Ratchet game since the original on PS2. So
wow.
I never went back and played the PS3 ones, none of the sequels on PS2, which I heard were really good. So I'm glad that I'm actually going back and playing this game, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Also, I started playing Mega Man 6, Mega Man 11. That game is hard. That game is really hard, and I'm not super happy when I'm playing it, Joel. I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling it because the game's good, but it's hard. I don't know if I'm getting too old. I could be getting too old, man. Mega Man's not for me anymore.
Old man Obed struggling
Old man
over here.
Obed.
This Mega Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude.
boy.
So I can't make the jumps. I'm sliding when I'm not wanting to slide.
Oh, boy.
Ah, dude.
That's the signs of old manness right there.
So I had to stretch my hands and do all this crap before I play that game. It's ridiculous. But man, other than that, I went back to playing the Battlefront 2 after the after update Battlefront 2. Man, that game is real good. I'm sorry, guys, if you don't like EA and don't like the stuff surrounding this game. The game has been patched for since the week after it came out.
Absolutely.
And the game's great. It has so much content. It's not even funny, and you can find it for like $8. So, definitely recommend it. Because you don't have to pay a cent for DLC. It has a decent, single player experience. I say decent. I'm not saying it's great, but it's
playable.
Fine. It's playable, and it's canon, and it has some cool things, right? I mean, it's not. It's. Think about Solo being a game. That's that campaign right there.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's Star Wars. It's not great. But yeah, went back and did some of that. But other than that, man, I'm done. I'm taking a couple of days off this week.
You deserve it.
So I'm looking forward to just not doing anything. Then next week we have our pre-Christmas or 2019 sort of like preview episode. And after that, man, we're probably going to be back next year because I'm taking time off, dude. And I just want to hang out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. No, that sounds like a nice kind of weekend though you had there. I had a pretty good weekend too.
Yeah, you did.
I as you saw, as some of you saw on our Facebook page, time to plug in that social media at No Load Time. Give us a follow, guys. On Facebook, I did a quick Facebook Live on Saturday in the afternoon. That was because I was able to get out and see an early screening of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man film from Sony. And funny story time here, though. So I did not have any major plans for the weekend. I had literally, like, people kept asking me, what are you doing for the weekend, Joel, whatever, and I was like, I don't have really much plans at all. My sister, one of my sisters, she wanted to see a movie. She mentioned to me it was an independent movie called Mary, Queen of Scots.
That's with Margot Robbie, right?
Yeah, Margot Robbie, yep.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is talking about it, right? So she's looking up this movie, and she's telling me, hey, let's see what times, whatever. As she looks it up, she realizes she gets real mad because it's not playing anywhere near our area because it's one of those independent movies, so it'll probably play later on or something very limited release, what have you, right? But with that being said, she goes, oh, look at this. They're actually playing Spider-Man over the weekend. I'm like, what are you talking about? The movie doesn't come out yet. There's like limited showings. You have to sign up now and just buy your tickets now.
Nice.
And like the second we did that, jumped on it, bought the tickets. There I am Saturday, went from no plans to Spider-Man. And you see what I did there? Yeah, wow. What a great movie. If you guys saw my Facebook Live, like, the animation's phenomenal, and you could see that from the trailers and whatnot.
We saw it from that first trailer that came out. That animation style looked really nice.
It's fantastic. The talent is really strong. The music's so good. It reminds me of like how Black Panther, the music really helped that movie. The same thing with this movie, but the strongest thing about Spider-Man has always been his story, his relatability, right? Like, it's always been this, Spider-Man's always been, it doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life, there's always something you can find to this very down-to-earth character. He's not like Superman, who's this godlike person or something where you, I don't know about you, I don't feel like it's out of my eyes. Where with Spider-Man, in this movie, you're seeing another different iteration of Spider-Man. You're seeing the Miles Morales storyline, but they bring in each of these Spider-Man, and the way they bring them in is exactly like, literally, this is my comic, this is my story, and it's done in such a great way of homage to each of the Spider-Man that you've read, or each of the Spider-Man that you've maybe be interested in. The way they do is phenomenal. The storytelling, like I'm saying, is what really drives this movie, but the emotions, like Stan Lee has a cameo in this movie, and man, tears, man. I started to well up a little bit because I'm like, we wouldn't have Spider-Man if it wasn't for this guy. Like, we wouldn't be sitting in this movie theater. And then just the way it ends, it's such a good movie that I'm planning to watch it again. Just being honest with you, and Spider-Man's my boy, so I had to do it anyways. But it's such a good movie. I highly recommend it.
Nice, yeah. It's still sitting at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, just in case you're wondering.
And Obed, if it doesn't get recognized for something, like critically, it's a crime because it's literally robbery. Like, that movie is that good.
Yeah, there's rumors that it may be running for Best Animated Picture.
Yeah, it should.
The Academy Awards, because it's some people are calling it like, oh yeah, this is the best like animated movie of the year, and you said
I think so.
Yeah, during your reaction, you were saying that it was the best animated movie you've seen in a long while. So
yes, yeah, and there's a lot of good ones out there, but it's that good.
Yeah, I'm glad it did well, and I'm glad it's reviewing very, very well. I know this movie now with Christmas coming up. I'm pretty sure this movie's gonna do okay in the box office. I think they already greenlit a sequel, right? Or a Spider-Gwen sequel?
They definitely are. They're gonna have more to this movie. When you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's definitely gonna be more, especially financially. I'm sure they'll make bank. But yeah, they've got more stories to tell.
Yeah, cool. I'm really happy about this. So hopefully they don't try to go too crazy with it, and as long as they keep the right writers.
Sony's got to stay intact. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go, Sinister Six. Don't go Aunt May on us.
Spin off everything. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like it's Uncle Ben spinoff.
But Obed, one from a gaming side, I got to do Crash Bandicoot the Insane. I got to play some of the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. Played the first Crash Bandicoot game, dude. Like I love this game so much, but it is so hard. I'm like, how was like younger Joel so good at this? I'm not bad now, but I definitely had to get back into that mental state of Crash Bandicoot. That's why they call it the Insane Trilogy, because that game can really drive you bonkers how difficult it can be at times.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it when the game came out, and a lot of people were saying, it's like, yo, I don't remember this game being this hard. It was like Dark Souls. So, yeah, I think I mentioned it back when it first released on PS4. But you got it for Switch, right? It looks okay on Switch?
Yeah, it looks just fine. No, it looks just fine on Switch.
All right, cool, man. All right, let's jump into the meat here, man. Holy crap, Joe. Yeah, Avengers Endgame. It's a thing. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to check out our live reactions on YouTube. Yeah, it's I'm very intrigued because I'm wondering where this movie's going, and I sort of know where they're going because the day after they released the trailer, they released this other poster for the movie, which sorta kinda comes together with some of the theories we had going on. But Joel, first impressions is that it felt empty, like it's this sense of emptiness.
Yeah,
this all these guys are missing. So I think it did a great job at setting up the feel that I think mostly Captain America's feeling, this feeling of emptiness and loneliness that he's feeling, which is clear in the trailer. Yeah, Joe, first impressions, man. Go ahead, because I know that you have some thoughts about this.
Yeah. No, I like that they show right away, like Iron Man, as smart as he is, he's still surviving, but like even he knows, and he's not talked to anybody else. Like he's just been stuck out there from the events that happened on Thanos' planet, Titan. Like he's still shaken by what's going on there. And then when you go to Earth, like you're saying, the same thing you see parallel there. Everybody's shaken. Thor is sitting there, and everyone's of course thinking, yeah, he's probably thinking right there, I should have went for the head. Like, what's I thinking? I'm sure he's thinking that. You see a very different Avengers team, where a lot like in Age of Ultron and these other movies, like you'll see them, laughing around, or they have like competitiveness, and then we're like, we got a fighting chance here, and they almost look like they're just walking in defeat. And I love that they didn't show anything of Thanos except for him just walking and being Farmer Thanos, and it's exactly what we know in the comics for him to be. And the Ronin thing, like, dude, that was fantastic that they showed these back in this movie. But everyone else that died was never shown, and that's how it should be,
Yeah, except for that poster that got released a couple of days after, and showed everyone in a very obvious place, and everyone that we think it's missing, right?
Right.
I liked it because of how different it is from the other Avengers trailers. The other Avengers trailer are just this spectacle of visual, candy that's happening all around you. The Age of Ultron shots that were going on, the first Avengers, when they assembled all these shots, and this is it's very somber, very different. I'm sure the movie's gonna have its humor, because we say it at the end of the trailer.
Absolutely.
that there's gonna be humor in the movie, but it's probably gonna be done in a very different way. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing maybe one more trailer, and that's it.
I don't
Right?
even want to see anything
You
else.
don't want to see anything
I'll
else?
take it, of course, but I don't want to say anything else because I feel like I get what scene they've put. Like I think one of the questions that I had said, I think when I was talking with you, I was saying there was rumors that they were going to jump like 10 years in the future or something like that. And we know that, if you're on the internet, if you follow social media, you've seen that, yeah, there's some set stuff going on with the past and the future. So this movie's going to have some time travel to it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from knowing that, what we saw in this product, like they showed us that it seems like it's going to pick up directly after where they left off in the movie before. So having that confirmation, like little details like that was like cool to know what scene we're going to be stepping into. But outside of that, I don't need to have any of my other questions answered, really. I think they've answered enough for me.
No, I think, yeah. How many trailers do we get? Like official trailers for Infinity War we got? We had like maybe 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, we got about I think 3 at the end, but one teaser, 2 official trailers. But I think the last one, I don't even remember if I even watched it, to be honest with you, because just didn't need to again.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to watching at least one more trailer and calling it a day, because
Yeah.
this is gonna be good. Yeah, very, very interesting things that they're trying to do. A lot of questions, right? Because it's setting up like the Infinity War ended with a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions on this trailer, so they're really keeping, playing their cards close to their hand and not showing a lot during this trailer. But you know what? It's Avengers, man.
It's Avengers.
There. Yeah, we'll be there. Joel, another trailer that dropped this week actually is the new Godzilla King of Monsters trailer. Is this gonna be a spoiler for next week's episode, Joel? Because this is probably next to Avengers. This is probably the movie that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a spoiler for you, but I'll save my remarks on my most anticipated there. But yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's a good trailer, though.
Yeah, it is a good trailer, man. I wish, and I know that shot at the end is probably gonna be very misleading because if you know anything about King Ghidorah and Godzilla and sizes and all that, there's some scaling issues on that last shot. But and I'm being a total nerd. I'm being a total Godzilla nerd here, but it looks great. We did get to see a couple of good shots of Mothra, which we didn't really see in the last teaser or trailer that they released. We only saw like a wingspan or maybe in her larval form, but here we saw Mothra in her larval form and then actually flying and doing battles.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. More Rodan. I think the Rodan footage they showed on this trailer is the same as the last trailer. They didn't show anything new for Rodan, but they definitely showed King Ghidorah on this one, and man, it looks great. It looks really good.
Money shot at the end, right? That running towards each other. I know you said yes, the scaling, but still, gotta admit that money shot. Like, that's a big change of pace of seeing Godzilla running. We never seen that in the last Godzilla movie.
Yeah,
so
not in the last
cool.
one. Yeah, the last one was really he was a heavyweight. Yeah, he was a heavyweight. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one. Like,
I love the dialogue. I love the dialogue. Like they're battling for like alpha status. Like that's like they know Godzilla's alive from the last movie, and it makes perfect sense. They're like, who's the biggest monster out here? Who's the one that's gonna rule them all? And so see Godzilla become the king of monsters. It's gonna be a sight for eyes. But you have to admit, Obed, King Kong's got to be somewhere sneaked in there. And, right? There's something.
There's probably gonna be either a reference to Kong or he will be in the movie, like straight up. Because this movie is setting up for another monster movie. So which is probably going to be, Mecha, King Ghidorah or Mecha Godzilla,
right.
When you never know. So, man, I would love to see a US version of Mecha Godzilla. That would be so sick. It was like, yeah, go crazy with like spikes and cannons and all this crap. Oh man.
Oh,
Like
getting
even
super nerds, guys.
like like even like the old school Mecha Godzilla was so cool to me in that man. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. It's fine. But yeah, well, I'm gonna leave it there because I'm not gonna go over more spoilers for next week's episode.
That's right.
We got our lists. We're checking them twice, and and we'll share them with you next week. Joe, Aquaman's coming out soon, and reviews are dropping in. The premiere was over this past weekend, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And we're getting a lot of reviews. Metacritic is not doing too great, but it is still holding a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes.
75 last I just checked, actually.
Okay. It just went down because I'm on the site right now.
Oh, I believe you. Yeah, I believe you. No, it's I mean, it's in the 70s, so I mean, that's still good.
75 is still good.
Still good. That means, basically 7 out of 10 people will like this movie. I think it's gonna be fine. The reviews that I've read, the non-spoiler reviews, because I don't like spoilers, they've all seemed to say the same thing, that this underwater ocean it's like rivals that of Star Wars in scale under the sea. It's a big, massive space battles. It's ocean battles that are really impressive. But some of that, like even GameSpot, I think they referred to it or something as like the most insane, movie or something, because it's doing a lot. Which has been a common thing that we've talked about with DC movies in general, is that they tend to try and do a lot in their movies. They need this movie to be great. I'm concerned that it's just going to be good.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a concern. That DC needs, especially with all the Henry Cavill rumors and now Amy Adams rumors that are going around, plus the Ben Affleck rumors. They need this movie to kill it, and I mean, even if it's okay, it'll be, I guess okay is fine for DC.
Yeah.
But I think this movie showed a lot of promise when they were showing it, the trailers, and I believe you mentioned that the Comic-Con reception was really positive.
Oh yeah.
So it's I'm hoping that it's good. I'm probably not gonna go see it in the movie theater.
Wow.
My wife mentioned it. I think because she likes Jason Momoa, of course. But that's a whole different story. I think it's I don't feel motivated to go see this movie in the movie theater. It's something that I would love to see, whenever it comes out. I'll rent it, maybe, find a good deal on a Blu-ray, but I don't see myself running, for a midnight release on this one.
And that's a funny thing too, like story time again, ironically enough, I got invited to see this movie early as well, and I passed it down.
Oh.
And that's showing, like, if that would have been a Marvel movie, Obed, Captain Marvel or something, I would be there. I would clear my schedule to be there. But it was Aquaman, and I'm like, I'll wait for opening weekend. Like, that's that. But Spider-Man has an advance showing, and I'm like, running out to see it. That just shows, I think, the excitement for it, and it's unfortunate. But I still think it's gonna be good, like you're saying. I think another thing that's funny, I've been having this conversation, and so far tracking seems like it's going to be the biggest, movie opening for its weekend. But it still hasn't dawned on me. It still hasn't come past me that there's a strong possibility that Mary Poppins could beat this movie, and that's a scary thought. Like that shouldn't even be a discussion when it comes to these kinds of movies. But it might actually pass this movie, or it could be very close.
There's a possibility that Bumblebee will do better than this movie, because Bumblebee's still sitting at 94, 97.
Yeah, that movie looks good.
Yeah. So, and Bumblebee, reactions overall, from what I've heard, it's like, yo, this is great. And it's like, this is the movie that we should have gotten, 12 years ago.
And Michael Bay didn't direct it.
No, he did not.
It's Travis Knight.
Yeah.
Kubo and the Two Strings guy.
Steven Spielberg produced. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Man. It's a uphill battle for Aquaman as it stands right now. It may do well because of the ladies. You know, seeing it like, Jason Momoa shirtless for 2.5 hours. You know.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like that conversations like that are like those things are gonna help it, but we're talking about like staying power. Like, is it gonna be something that like an Avengers movie where it's top of the box office for the first month to 2 months? Like, is it? Can we see that? I don't think that's even a talking point for this movie, and they need it to be great like that. Is my point.
I think this movie is probably gonna do better than Justice League. To be honest with you,
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even having the uphill battle that it has right now, because it's coming out on the 21st with 2 other big movies. You're getting a Disney movie that's getting a lot of very positive buzz, and you have another action franchise that's getting rebooted with, you know, also, you know, some power here because you know, you got John Cena. So you gotta have a decent cast on this movie, positive, you know, reviews. So. Man, this is gonna be one where the nerds are gonna have to choose, where to go, and it's gonna be rough.
We'll see.
It's gonna be, December 21st is gonna be a bloodbath, regardless.
It's true.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep my eye out on that box office mojo for that weekend, and
same,
and see what happens.
Who wins?
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about it. So. Joel, you want to talk about the Punisher real quick, because we got some news that broke out today about Punisher season 2.
Yes, Punisher season 2 coming out January. It's
getting canceled in February.
They're pushing it, Obed. Like they're pushing to get it out there. They've all the information about the cuts and the non pickups for the contracts of those other Netflix Marvel shows. They know they just got to get this thing out there, and this will be the end of a phase for this Marvel Netflix run that they had for a while. So it's, you know, I'm fine with it going out with Punisher because I enjoyed the first season. I don't think it was the best of the Marvel Netflix, but it definitely was. He definitely was one of the characters I enjoyed watching, and I enjoyed seeing his story. So I'll watch this one too, but. Yeah, Obed, this is very clear sign to me that they were like rushing. Let's get this thing out there so we can be done with it. And like we joke about, cancel in February, but I literally think that is the case. I literally think a month into it, you will find out that is the end officially. So, hey, it had 2 seasons. That's enough content for people to be happy with for what you got. And you know, I know the word on the street has still been the same thing that we talked about from last week, that it won't be anytime soon that we'll see these characters come back. There's no plans for Disney Plus, but I think that's also all legal, contractual jargon right now, and Disney's figuring it all out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Man, one of those things. And then I saw another article today saying that indeed Netflix... I guess hold over the characters or the agreement they had for these characters prohibits Marvel, including MCU, to use the characters for 2 years. I'm sure there's, you know, loops and clauses and all this stuff that Marvel can say, no, we can grab them, put them on the MCU until, you know, we find a home for them. And at the same time, again, super bummed that Netflix is doing this. It seems like it's Netflix, like it's not Marvel saying, "Yo, give us our stuff back, give us our toys back. We're gonna go home." You know, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like it's Netflix saying, "We don't need you anymore. Here you go," and we have brand new toys, sorta. Yeah, unfortunate because this series have their audiences, and they're very well received. With I think all of them, with the exception of the first season of Iron Fist, have been very well received. So yeah, it's a shame. You know, it's a bummer. So we'll see where it ends up.
We'll see.
I'm sure we'll hear some more news about this after Endgame comes out, I'm sure these characters are gonna be somewhere
Yeah.
in some place in the MCU. I doubt that.
These are especially Daredevil. Like, come on,
Yeah,
it's big. That's an A-list character right there.
yeah, and they interviewed Charlie Cox. I don't know if you saw that
I
this
did.
week. Yeah, and he was saying that they already had plans for season 2 and things that they wanted to put out. So they were no, I'm sorry, season 4. So they were planning these things out. It's not that it happened all of a sudden. There was planning already going on for future projects, and then they decided to just go ahead and cut it. So yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but we'll see where it ends up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Joel, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, last week we were recording while the Game Awards were going on, and some pretty big winners, Joel. So shout outs to God of War for getting Game of the Year. I didn't see that one, man.
Thank goodness, though. I mean, nothing against Red Dead Redemption 2, but I was like, share some spotlight, guys, because early on it looked like they were gonna win everything. So good for God of War.
Yeah, it deserves it. God of War is a beautiful, beautiful game, and it also won best game direction. So Cory Barlog from Studio Santa Monica got that award, and I'm pretty excited because this shows the potential for future projects and all this upcoming next gen rumors that are going on right now. So I'm very, very excited about that. If you guys haven't played God of War, again, PSA, grab it and play it because that game is really, really good.
Talk about a successful soft reboot.
Seriously, because it was a soft reboot, and you can tell that they worked within their means. They didn't go all crazy with it, on an insane open world and a billion NPCs and all these stuff. They wanted to tell a story, and they focused on doing that, and it was great. And the way they expanded on that story and expanded on Norse mythology and the world itself, it was very well done. And that just the storytelling and all that, and all the plot twists and all these things happening, it was really good. It was fantastic. So again, highly recommend it. The only other thing of note that I think I saw, Joel, was Celeste was won best independent game. Celeste was also up for Game of the Year. Nothing too crazy happening. I mean, Dragon Ball Fighter Z won best fighting game of the year, of course. I mean, how could it not?
No surprise.
I didn't even know that Street Fighter V Arcade Edition was nominated because it was technically a re-release of the game. But yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball is a fantastic game. Again, grab it if you have a chance. If you're into if you're into like games like sort of like Smash where you can just play multiplayer and have fun, that's a good recommendation for you guys. But yeah, nothing too crazy regarding the winners, other than what we mentioned last week. And there was also quite a few announcements, Joe. Just going through, and again, we talked about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 coming out exclusively on the Switch. So you were pretty excited about that.
Still am hyped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the biggest announcement of the night was probably Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah,
that seemed to have a very big reaction from the audience. It was expected. The game was supposed to be shown at E3, and they didn't. So the game's coming out in April. So it's coming out in time for it to make Evo. So pretty interesting stuff there. It looks like it's going to have sort of a time travel mechanic as well. So a lot of time travel stuff. The only other thing that they announced is that Joker from Persona 5 is going to be on Smash as their first character or first DLC character. Uh, Interesting because Persona 5 was not on a Nintendo console, but Persona Q is on the 3DS and or Q2, and that has the Persona 5 characters. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with the gameplay on Joker, and how the Persona and all that is gonna be integrated on the gameplay for Smash. By the way, Joel, did you grab Smash or not yet?
Dude, I have not grabbed it yet, but when your boy gets sucked into that, it's over. It's over. That's one of my favorites then. So, yeah, bring it on Switch. I can't wait.
No, seriously. Yeah, a couple of other crossover announcements that they made. There's gonna be a Monster Hunter and Witcher 3 crossover event over at Monster Hunter World. It seems like it's sort of, it's not just Geralt that's gonna be in the game. It's gonna be something a little deeper. It's gonna be some sort of like story part to it as well. So very interested to see how that's gonna play out. Joel, I think the biggest news from the event, and we touched on it last week, is that during the event, Epic Games actually went ahead and launched that storefront for PC.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that happened. Of course, they had some. They announced that they have some exclusive content. The game Hades that I mentioned during the show made by Supergiant Games. It's on an exclusive early access program through the Epic Games stores. So yeah, very interesting to see that there's gonna be some exclusive content coming into that storefront. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that Epic Games started recalling the Infinity Blade games from the Apple Store, from the iOS store. Yep. So those games are going to go on the Epic Games Store. So they started getting their properties together, and it looks like they're prepping to give Steam a run for its money. The biggest thing again, how developers are gonna get paid for their content on this platform. It is a big deal. The other thing, Joel, is that they also talked about how they're going to curate the games that they're going to be selling on this platform. It's just not anything. If you go to Steam right now, it is just an absolute mess, and you'll get pages upon pages of garbage, and it's ridiculous. So I'm happy that they're actually taking the time and curating the store. I remember when PSN used to do that, right, Sony? Right? Remember when you used to curate your store?
Back in Sony's day.
Yeah, back in the PS3 days. But it's very important that they do this and not clog their store with garbage. So that to me is pretty important. So yeah, I mean, again, if you download the Fortnite launcher, you can turn on the store feature and take a look at that. Yeah.
Nice.
And Joel, there was an article that was released at the beginning of this week, and it's talking about PlayStation and how their fan base wants more single player story driven content. How do you feel about that, man?
I like it. I think there's a lot of multiplayer, hype that was going on earlier. We talked about in this show before, and there's nothing against, multiplayer. I think they're fine. Fortnite, exactly. Nothing against those, but there's something about having a very strong single player story campaign. There's something about when you're talking about like the God of War and these other great games that were nominated, Spider-Man, these different
Red
Dead, right? There's something about them that just this is why I say to you, Obed, and we've had a discussion privately about how instead of watching TV, I would rather pick up my DualShock and play some games, because sometimes the storylines and the entertainment I'm getting out of it is just so strong when you're playing one of those really solid games. So I enjoy that. So speaking as for me, the type of gamer that I am, I'm happy to hear this news, because that just means that you're just going to give me more and more stuff that I enjoy, and you give me more options, and it's great that PlayStation thinks about exclusives and they're talking about it this way. So I like this news, Obed.
Yeah. Again, I'm looking forward to see what they have during next gen, but man. And Joel, I'm old school. I've been on this thing since the Atari 2600. And to me, this has been the most consistent and quite possibly the best gen ever. It's been especially if you were a PlayStation owner, you get all these games that were a masterpiece level of creative prowess, I would say. Wow. They really showed that they are capable of bringing this thing to the next level, with God of War and Detroit, Spider-Man, all these other properties. Of course, we're talking about some second party stuff here, like with Detroit and Spider-Man, but then we go back to Uncharted, The Last of Us 2 is still coming out. Whatever Death Stranding is, whatever craziness Hideo Kojima is doing. Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. And that is a single player game with a very strong online component. But we're seeing where we know what Sony's strengths are. Yes. So I'm curious to see what Microsoft's strengths are going to be for next generation.
Yes.
They're setting the groundwork. I'm hoping they do well. Again, competition, sparks innovation. So yes. They need to bring it. That way we get better stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Helps us.
It helps us say, hey, you know what? If Microsoft decides to sell a decent piece of hardware with a compelling library of games, I may grab one. But
of course.
Until they don't, if they just keep releasing Forza over and over again, I'm good, dude.
Yeah,
I'm set. But yeah, I'm still, and of course, we need to keep our eye out for Nintendo. They're doing their own thing. They're not competing. They're doing their own separate. They're playing a very different game that Sony's playing, and they're being good at it. So. I don't see too much. I don't see Nintendo being too much of a concern for Sony right now, or for themselves, because they're doing well. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another Zelda before the Switch's life cycle is done. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see another Mario before the life cycle's done. Even maybe a Mario Kart. I don't think we'll see another Smash. I think Sakurai is gonna go and hide himself in a cave after the DLC is done. He's gonna go ahead and lock himself up in a Shinto shrine over in Kyoto,
made of gold.
And just lock himself in there. It's like, you can't come in. It's a sacred place. Yeah. But it's gonna be very interesting to see Absolutely. How Sony is gonna play this game. Of course, there's rumors that alongside with the next generation console, we'll see a more robust and revamped PlayStation Network. Of course, John Codera, who is in charge of PlayStation right now, comes from he's the PSN guy. He was the guy that built PSN. He was the guy that built Music Unlimited and all these services for Sony. So. The guy has the expertise, so hopefully he can bring it. So yeah,
nice.
And Joel, that's all I have. Other than that, one quick announcement, guys. We are finally on Spotify. After all this time, we finally made it.
Yeah.
Made it to the big leagues.
We made it. We're being recognized. We're on Spotify. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. Guys, there's no excuses, right, Obed?
No, definitely. And YouTube.
And YouTube. Yeah,
if you like to glance at our manly physiques, our chiseled good looks.
Can't miss this face, guys. It's limited edition.
Yeah, it's only one. It's only
one Joel Young.
It's only one Joel Young. Oh yeah, there's only one of you guys, for sure.
Thank you, Obed. There's only one of you too.
Oh, thanks. Dude.
But yes, guys, I'm sitting at home now. Thank you.
Do it.
Please subscribe. We just mentioned it on the show. I'm going to say it again. We are on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify. Subscribe to our audio version. You can hear the latest of our episodes. Subscribe to our video versions on YouTube. Also, please, if you're an iTunes subscriber, go ahead and drop us a review. That helps us out as we share the good stuff we're doing here. Go ahead and follow us on social media. Like I mentioned, I did a Facebook Live talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We do a lot of really cool stuff on there. So go ahead and give us a follow on Facebook and iTunes. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, at NoLoadTime. That's at NoLoadTime, same handle. And then we also want you to feel free to send any questions, comments, feedback, stuff maybe we could discuss here on the show, which we have done in the past. So go ahead and shoot an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch us here on the show, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Thank you guys again, and we'll see you next week.